Hello everyone. Just a quick rundown today. It's been another hectic day. Hopefully next week things calm down for me. Um, I've been uh, pretty busy with work, so haven't really had a lot of time to focus on trading, and not having the best results this week. I entered 3 trades today, and I made money on 2 of them, but they were more or less break evens. I think today's issue is more theta. Um, I just didn't get the moves, didn't get the movement I got that I wanted to get in the options prices. And I think it was because of time decay. But let's take a look. Facebook, I bought Facebook puts at 936. 936 Facebook puts. We had a bearish engulfing candle here. I got in right after the open of this candle, and it came down, but it just never. I think it made it to $1.30. I paid $1.22. I think it made it to $1.30 even with this much of a drop, and it just didn't really didn't get the movement in the price. I mean, you'd think for a 30-cent drop, 40-cent drop, probably about a 40-cent drop, you get more than 10 cents on your. I don't know what the delta was. I didn't look at it, but just didn't get the movement. It didn't. I thought I'd be looking at $1.40, and I think it barely touched. Well, I could tell you. At the 177.50 puts, make sure we have the right ones here. Yeah, 177.50 puts. I paid $1.22 at 936, which was right here, right after the open of this candle. So I paid $1.22. The open of this candle was actually $1.15. They did make it to $1.40 right. That's right. It made it to $1.40, but it just flashed $1.40 real quick, and then it dropped right back down. So it didn't stay there long enough for me to get an order. I actually had an order in at $1.35 to sell one of them, just to get 10%, but it looked like it was going to go the other way on me, so I canceled that order, and I didn't have time to get an order in. And I think what I did was I hit, when it got up here, by the time I went in and hit a market sell on one, it sold for $1. I sold one right away because when I first bought it, it went against me, and I saw how quick the options price moved against me just because it was tomorrow's expiration. So I sold one of them at $1.22 just to reduce some risk, because I knew if it went 30% against me, which it could have done pretty quickly, I didn't want to have 2 contracts. So that's what happened there. I sold one at $1.24, which was pretty much break even, and on the second one it hit $1.40. By the time I switched over to this screen, from this one to this one, hit sell market, it sold $1.26. So that one, yeah, I made maybe $3, $2. Nothing worth even mentioning. But I entered off this bearish engulfing candle here, which it's tough at entering on a big candle like that. What's the other trade I got in? I got in this one here. Didn't work out at all. Bubba. I got Bubba calls at 1019. So 1019 would have been, I got in off of this doji candle, off of support level, which was the pivot point. Doji candle off the pivot point, got a little pop here, and then it pulled back, and I stopped out. Obviously, if I would have held on a little longer, it would have worked out, but you don't know if it's going to bounce back up or keep going down. Once we lost this level here, that was yesterday's low. Once we lost yesterday's low, I got out. So yeah, it would have been nice if I would have stuck around longer, but got to protect your downside. So that's what happened with that one. So that was another, that one would have been a good play if I would have just held it a little bit longer. But and I got in Facebook puts again, the same ones at 10:53, and this one I just couldn't get any movement on the options price until right after I got out. Shouldn't say right after I got out, but it was a little after I got out. 10:53, I get in puts off of this bearish engulfing. Actually, it was this bearish engulfing candle. No, it was this bearish engulfing candle. But I waited till it came back up to today's open, and that's when I got in. I got in 10:53 right after the open of this candle. Using this as my resistance. I got in here, and it went all the way to about here. Let's see what time I sold. Sold it at 11:13, so I had it for 20 minutes. Sold it at 11:13, which was right after the open of this candle. The price had dropped. It went my direction, but I wasn't getting much movement in my options chain. We can take a look at that. Let me see what I played. 177.50 puts. Actually, it's already up here. So I got in. What time was it? In at 10:53, out at 11:13. So I got in at 10:53, which was right after the open of this candle, at 81 cents. And we went all the way through here, and we just never really made any traction here. It got to 87 here. I had a sell order in at I think for one contract at 89 for 10%, and it didn't hit it. And then I had a meeting coming up, so I had to leave for lunch. So I just sold. I just closed out of it. Made a penny from 81 to 82. And then I left for lunch right about probably this candle here. Let me go back to this. Right about at this candle here, I left for lunch. Probably this one. I left for lunch, and I went upstairs, pulled up my app on my phone, and there it did. It went up to about $1.10. Actually, it hit 95. So it hit 95 cents. I think the bid and ask was like $1.05 by $1.10, but no, nothing actually went through at that. No, you know what? We're over here. I'm in the wrong time frame. It's been a tough week. It hit $1.09. So, yeah, if I wouldn't have had a meeting coming up and would have waited a little bit longer for lunch, this one would have worked out nice. I can't fault my trading for this one. The problem was timing. Timing and work schedule is what got me on this one. So, yeah, this would have been a good trade. In at 82 cents, or in at 81 cents, out at 82 cents. And I went in really light on that one. Only about $160 because, like I said earlier, they had been moving so quick that I didn't want to risk a 25% loss on a bigger position. And I'm still trying to get comfortable with this system. So, because of that, I only went in 2 contracts, $162 for entry. Figuring if I had to take a 20% loss, what's that going to be? $25, something like that. So, anyway, yeah, this one would have worked out. Like I said, my entry was right around here, towards the end of this candle, probably right about this level. Even when it got down to here, I was still pretty much even because of theta. The price had dropped it was probably 178.15 when I got in. It had dropped 15 to 20 cents, and I was still even on my. It had went up to like 84 cents, from 81 to like 84, maybe 85. And then when it popped, like right here, it dropped to like 70 something, and it got back to where I was just about even, and that's when I hit the sell button to get out, so I could go get my lunch and get ready for my meeting. So it didn't work out in that situation, but like I said, if I would have been sitting here 10 minutes longer, it would have worked out for about a 20% win for me. But I know that going in, that my job is my priority, so I have to focus on that, and trading is secondary. So we'll call it 2 wins and 1 loss, but in reality it's probably 2 break evens and 1 loss. I am red for the day by, I don't know, $25. I wasn't expecting the options to drop so fast with tomorrow's expiration. I've traded SPY with next day expiration, and it doesn't move as fast as what Facebook was this morning, and that kind of, when that happened, I was like, well, I'm not going to go in that deep, because there's too much movement to the downside if it goes against me. So today, look at Square. Had a nice bearish engulfing candle here near the highs, and that would have been a really nice trade. Bearish engulfing here that would not have worked out. Right at 11 o'clock, another bearish engulfing, which would have worked if you would have stuck around for a while. Tesla. And by the way, if you haven't noticed, my winning percentage isn't as high as it was earlier this week. I haven't figured it out, but I'm probably closer to about 50 to 60% now. So I had a doji here. I normally don't trade off dojis, which I mentioned I did in what was a Bubba trade. I'll cover that when I get to it, but I'll explain why. Doji here. Here we had a bullish engulfing, but a bullish engulfing following a doji isn't real big. It isn't a really big decision maker. But if you would have got in anywhere around this level, it would have worked out. Even if you would have got in at this level, it still would have worked. It would just, you would have had a little bit of pain here. But again, that's Tesla, and I'm not comfortable trading Tesla too much. Baidu. This, we had a bullish engulfing candle near support. Problem is the long wick doesn't make me any more comfortable with an entry. So in the end, that wouldn't have worked out. And I actually looked at this chart when I got the alert and decided not to buy it because of that long wick. That's the reason I didn't buy it. That's the only reason I didn't buy it. So that's Baidu. Shop. Let's take a look at Shop here. Couple doji in there. Bearish engulfing candle, but it's real close to support. I wouldn't have traded this. Here we're after 11 o'clock, so I wouldn't have traded that one anyway. Baba. Okay, why did I get in Baba on a doji candle? Got in Baba. I don't normally. A doji requires confirmation, unless you're at a support level, and that comes right from Steve Nissen's books. It's not as reassuring as if you had confirmation, but nonetheless, I entered on because there was a doji at a support level, and I entered it shortly after this. It wasn't exactly the next candle. Let me see what time it was. I entered it at 1019, so it was close to the end of this candle actually. Um, almost the opening of this candle. I wasn't real comfortable with the long wick here, but I thought this support level would hold better than it did. So that's why I entered, because of doji. I don't actually. I'm going to say that's probably the first time I've ever entered on a doji candle. I don't normally do that. I thought it would hold this support. Like I said, actually when I sold, it was down about here. I think I sold right at the close of this candle. I was almost at the bottom. I sold almost at the bottom. So a little more patience on that one would have worked out for me. Facebook. We already looked at this quickly. I made 2 trades on this today. Both pretty much break evens. Bearish engulfing candle at the open. Got a bullish engulfing candle here with a long wick, but it would have worked out. Zoom in a little bit more. Bullish engulfing here that would have worked out for us. But we had no support levels here. If we would have had some kind of support level here, would have been something more to think about. I still don't like the long wick there. Bearish engulfing near today's open, just above today's open. I entered right around this level here because we did have the bearish engulfing. We came up and stopped right at today's open. I got in here. This would have been a nice trade, or you could have got in after this candle. Either one would have been a nice trade. It would have been a nice trade for me had I had the time to sit here and babysit it a little bit longer. I don't walk away from my computer when I'm in an open position. So, and like I said, the price had dropped and went my direction, but the options price just really didn't move. And that was another reason why I was just waiting to get out of it, because I thought theta was just hit too much of a hit, and I would need a bigger move than what I thought I would get just to make my target. So I just decided, you know what, I'm just gonna get out with no damage done and just call it a day. 10:30 here we had a bearish engulfing candle on Netflix. But it was right at support, right at the 100 simple moving average. So I wouldn't have entered that unless this candle would have started pulling down below here. Then at that point I might have entered puts. But this wouldn't have been a good entry. And then over here we had a bullish engulfing right off of the 200 simple moving average. I wasn't sure what that white one was. It looks kind of flat. Had a bullish engulfing right off the 200 simple moving average. That's something I might have entered. I don't like entering near the high of day, and we were close to the high of day here because this target realistically would have been about here. So I don't know that I would have entered this one. But somebody with a little bit more risky, a little bit more aggressive, could have entered here and probably could have got, well, definitely could have got more than 10%, because you see what happened. We were looking at this candle for an entry, and same with this one. We had a pullback to the 10 EMA and another bullish engulfing candle, and it took off from there. So this definitely would have been a good entry. So quick look at SPY. Bullish engulfing right before the open. Actually, that's not a bullish engulfing. That is a Maribozu. So Maribozu, which you probably remember from before, I don't enter just on a Maribozu. That's something I use for maybe confirmation or just a little bit of help. So that wouldn't have been an entry for me anyway. We had a bullish engulfing here. Went right to this pivot point and stopped. And that was actually after 11 o'clock anyway, so that wouldn't have fit my, worked in with my rules. So, yeah, came down to this pivot point here, bounced up, and we just bounced off this pivot point again. So that's about it for today. Like I said, I had a good trade Monday, good trade Tuesday. Yesterday I had a losing trade, and today I had 2 wins and 1 loss, even though the 2 wins were pretty much break even. In the end, it's not been a great week. I'm not really down much, but I am red. But then again, I'm also stretched pretty thin right now with work, so probably wasn't a good week for me to be trading anything anyway. Hopefully next week gets a little bit better. So we'll go from there. But anyway, good trading, and I'll see everyone tomorrow. Thanks. Bye.